Welcome to tonight's transmission of the Ministry of Assumption Absolute. My name is Lucien Francois Mateo St. James, and I am here to encourage you in knowing with empowered conviction the truth of your transcendent divinity, helping you remember how to live as the love that you already are. This is a very special transmission tonight because we are going to be discussing the 8 keys of initiating entrance into your afterlife. And it really is a matter of your observation. There's nothing you need to do. You don't need to die, although these insights, these keys likely will initiate. I mean, here's the thing, any type of transformation requires a death and a release of some sort. I believe we're dying and being rebirthed every single day. So you might experience a death of sorts, meaning that you will be called to release things that represent more of your conditioning and more of your past expectations rather than the total, than the all that is, because you are the all that is, experiencing an individualized expression of God, or rather you are. It takes us to the first key, so we're just going to launch right into it. And I thank you for co-creating this moment with me. First key being that you are, I've got this written down, you are the all that is. You are the source of every single thing you perceive. You are the energetic point of origin. You are the man smiling in the mirror, looking at the man smiling in the mirror. It's you doing the smiling. You are the creator. You are the created. And you are the act of creation. Everything you see springs from whence that is your perception of yourself. I always like saying from whence. Sometimes I use it inappropriately, honestly. But you are everything that you see. Now, that might not be in this moment if you're seeing somebody who maybe has a more angry disposition and you've been working on your anger and releasing that. We'll get to that. I'm jumping ahead because everything being dead is one of the keys. But the first key being the acceptance, it really starts with the acceptance that you are the source of everything you see. I mean, that's probably the most important key. Like the rest of the keys are just like tuning. They're just like additional keys for, locks you might encounter. What does it mean to be initiated into the afterlife? This is the methodology, the framework, the understanding, the ideology. I said methodology. Oh, God, I'm too stuck in the sciences. The ideology of the ministry of Assumption Absolute, that the afterlife, that heaven, well, really that it's all here now, not just that heaven's here, but hell is here and heaven's here and the ego is here and the 3D conditioning is here and everything everybody else wants you to think is here. And essentially, if you're not driving the car, if you're not intentionally, consciously creating your life, you're probably living in some version of hell. Because you didn't create it. You're living essentially in a set of imprisonments, entrapments that you didn't create and you might not realize that you're in. But my ideology is that heaven is here. That doesn't mean that every day feels like bliss, but every day provides you the opportunity to access the bliss within yourself. There's nothing you need to do. There's nothing. Creation is finished. Neville Goddard says this. Bible says this, that it's all here now. So if it's all here now, it's really more a matter of your tuning. So this is and if you're watching this, congratulations, because you are being initiated into the afterlife. And you might have to watch this a couple of times. You might have to sit with it. It might not make sense until a year later. But if you found this somehow, you are being initiated into the afterlife, meaning think about what heaven would be for you, where it would already be done. You wouldn't have to scratch and survive and effort and prove and convince and wish and hope. It just would be. So congratulations. You have entered your afterlife. This is the initiation. That first key being that you are the energetic point of origin. You are the creator, the created, and everything else, the act of creation itself. In other words, you are the God of your reality. But if the word God is the word I use, that's too tricky for you. Again, you are the energetic point of origin of all of your experiences. So first accepting that, I mean, that being all of it. All you're seeing is more of you. That's it. That's what's happening. Everything you see is some version of you, either of your expectations, your understanding of yourself, or your understanding of other people. Second key being that there is no future and that there is no past. Thoughts exist within a future past context. Now, of course, we can't stop thoughts. I'm thinking to be able to speak to you. You're thinking to be able to receive this. So we can't necessarily get around the act of thinking. We can tune our thinking, be intentional with our thinking, provide moments of space where we allow ourselves to cease thinking, to cease the act of thinking, because thinking is an act. Furthermore, I think thoughts are things too. Not that thoughts are the energetic source of origin, but I do tend to think of thoughts as like entities. Because if you think about the fact that when you sit down and you try to meditate, it seems like you get accosted by thoughts, right? Like you get assaulted by them. Like you're not trying to bring in, we have 70,000 thoughts per day. You're not trying to bring in 90% of them, 95% of them being unconscious. You're not trying to bring those in. They're just, aren't they just there? Don't they seem to have a bit of their own agenda? Now, of course, they're from us. They're tuned to our frequency of awareness, but I do think that there is something maybe quasi-autonomous about them. But there is no future. And there is no past. You should be writing this down. I get, there is only you, there is only now. So it's not coming now. Likely the reason I don't help people get stuff in things. The stuff and things will come when you live in the power of your I am, of the total, of the absolute, when you live in abundance, when you live in joy, when you live in freedom, when you live in the total, in the absolute, as the creator, as the awareness of the creator, the created, and the act of creation. When you come back to that heart space, when you come back to that knowing, when you realize that if I'm having a negative experience right now, it's because I'm creating the thoughts of the perception of the negative experience, and that is what I'm engaging with, and not actually the thing itself. I'm not engaging with the phenomena. I'm engaging with my thoughts of said phenomena, of my perception, of my creation, of how that phenomena, how I'm receiving it. So when you come back to that heart space, to the all, to the is, to the peace, to the joy that everything is already here, to the I am, to the presence of your total, absolute, unbothered, nameless, shameless, shapeless, formless spark of consciousness that is animating your individualized experience of awareness, you come back to that. All that is happening is now. Yesterday was now. Tomorrow will be now. Time is just a point between, is a measurement of a point between two spaces. The distance between two spaces. 2 points of reference. Those points of reference exist relative to each other, so they're not really ever actually happening. Most people, when they're visualizing whatever it might be that they're intentionally calling into their reality, they're even still imagining a future where they have it. They're imagining even still from a future, like, I don't have it now, I'm in the act of getting. You're not manifesting, you are the manifestation. It's here, it's now. You are the proof of everything you see. It's already here. All you can be is the proof. So do you want to be the proof of waiting? You have to have it now. The future that you desire has to become the present in order for you to experience it in some time context, should you choose to care for it that way. But if you're waiting on it through time, you're waiting on it through a 3D effect. You're fixated on the effect and not realizing yourself as the cause, which means you're going to keep chasing the effect because you've displaced your sense of power outside of yourself. So there is only now. You can only have, I always say this, you can only have more. You'll only get more of what you already have. So what do you have right now? What are you giving yourself right now? In energy, in intention, in visualization, in understanding, in essence. But you collapse all that by realizing you're all of it. Everything you could possibly think of, you have it because you are the energetic point of origin for everything you see. Key number 3, initiating yourself into the afterlife, allowing all things without condition. Talking about unconditional love, really. Unconditional allowance, at least. If not love, Because if you remain in the space of unconditional love of all things, you will not suffer. That will be the end of your suffering. Resisting nothing. Internal, and it's especially internalizing nothing. This is key 3. Internalizing nothing that isn't your preference, rather. Well, that was a slip, but internalizing nothing that isn't your presence. Stop internalizing other people and other things outside of you. Stop doing that. But they're just representing a piece of you anyway. But the end of suffering being that you stop resisting. If it's raining, that just is. Things are just happening. They just are. Negative things on the news, they just are. Your best friend is having relationship issues. That's just, there are things that pass. There's a million different things that pass through your field of awareness. You don't have to do anything with them. You can be aware of them. Some things might require a 3D intervention. Some things might require, as I say, they might require us to contend with them. They might require us to engage with them, if not for our safety or whatever it might be. But you do not internalize anything that's not your preference, but you really don't need to internalize anything out here. I mean, if you want to internalize the aspects of your mirror of consciousness that affirm the power of your I am, that affirm what you want to believe about yourself, sure, because that's the fun of all of this. But you don't have to resist anything. Resistance is the nature of suffering. Needing things to be a certain way. Well, I didn't want them to do this. Well, they should be doing that. Well, I should be doing this. Well, the markets should be behaving that way. Well, the president should have made this decision. Unconditional allowance. I'm anticipating, we're at a point in time, I'm anticipating taking on some private clients maybe around the beginning of next year. This one is a large topic. If you would like assistance fully embodying the state of your afterlife, living as the creator of your reality, then shoot me an email and I'll get you on the waiting list. But unconditional allowance is I used to run entire coaching programs just on this topic, how to stop resisting that which you just allow it to be. It really pushes up against so I'm just not supposed to care about anything. What are you going to do about it? I mean, if you can do something, sure, I guess, depending on what it is, but you don't need to do anything about out there, because out there is coming from in here, and the things that don't represent that which you desire to see about yourself, let it go. You don't have to like it. You don't have to condone it. So I'm just supposed to condone everything. Everything's just okay. No, it doesn't have to be okay. It doesn't have to be anything. It can be an aspect crossing your field of awareness that just is. But that one is a tougher one, because it requires the full release of our ego in that moment. Because our ego has preferences, our ego has identifications, our ego has labels, our ego has some conception of morality. It has an idea that it wants to think about itself. And the ego is not bad. You cannot, I don't believe that you can really, and this is my belief, other teachers have, different belief strains, and I don't think any of them are wrong. I think they're all right per the individual, because we're all pieces of the whole, and the whole is made of pieces. So, everything can occur. Everything is valid in one way. Everything is invalid in another way. It's all one thing. So I am not of the thought or of the belief system of the school of thought is what I was trying to get to, where you need to kill your ego. Or rather, fine. I kill my ego every week, every other day. What I mean, and what really looks like what I could refer to a killing as is a type of renegotiation. I feel very connected to snake lineage, so I could really more say a shedding of one's skin, a peeling back of layers that have been determined to be unhelpful at this point in time. If it's unhelpful for me to have a narrative such as, if you make money, it'll make you a bad person. I can peel that layer off of myself, because that is a layer of ego that was conditioned by a plethora of sources that is no longer serving me. But killing the ego, killing a sense, what we're talking about is killing our sense of separateness. And again, I think that we can unpeel that and renegotiate it and come into different relationship with it and try to create a more harmonious understanding of what the self is, but again, you bypass all that with the first key, realizing that like you are everything, but like in being everything, you've got an entire world of separation that you live in as a separated self, and that can't be ignored either. So we have to contend with this dual nature. We have to contend with the knowledge and the truth that we are all things while living a separated existence. And that is what I like to call our human conundrum, our Jesus problem. Now, it wasn't a problem for Jesus, but Jesus showed us how to live that duality in harmony, in essence, by, whatever the hell is left out of what is supposed to be the Bible. Number 4, key number 4, love, abundance, peace, clarity, beauty, the eternal, all things, they are here right now. These things are available, and they are not a product of your circumstance. Most people think they'll get love. Well, I'll feel love when I have a relationship. I'll feel well. Essentially, what the antithesis to what I'm saying could be categorized or demonstrated by the quote, "I'll believe it when I see it." Nope, that's wrong. That's wrong. Because if you don't, I won't say believe it, if you don't know it, you'll never see it. You are seeing that which has been deeply embedded in you, that which you understand to be absolute truth. And nothing here, as long as it exists in separation, is the absolute truth other than the knowledge of the I am. But whatever you've accepted as absolute truth about yourself, about the world, about other people, about circumstances, conditions, politics, the economy, whatever it might be, that's what you're seeing. Not the things that you believe, not the things that you want. You are seeing what you have assigned as truth and as knowledge. But love, peace, beauty, clarity, abundance. Love, peace, beauty, clarity, and abundance. All the good stuff. All the good stuff. Baby, just give me the good stuff. It's there's a small little blip of a Led Zeppelin song where Robert Plant is like, baby, baby, just give me the good things. I don't know which one it is. In the days of my youth, I was told what it means to be a man. I don't know which one that is, but yeah, it's all here now. You don't have to do anything for it. You just align with the frequency, and that frequency is the I am. Again, joy and peace and beauty and abundance are really just different aspects of that higher self, of that all. It's not higher self, but of that all, of that I am, of that source consciousness, which you are an individual expression of. You are beauty, you are freedom, you are peace, you are abundance. You've been programmed with an ego that has been weaponized to act and live against itself. But the truth is that the best of all that you can think of is here now, and it's not due to circumstance. I'm not talking about beautiful circumstances come from beauty that exists. A beautiful flower is a representation of a beautiful frequency. The richest person you know is a representation of a quote unquote rich or abundant frequency. Of course, there are rich people that don't feel very abundant. Of course, there are maybe people that are rich in finance, but poor in relationships. So that's why we're talking about frequency, not talking about circumstances, but the circumstances are a representation of the frequency that is. That's why I don't teach people to get stuff, because when you embody the frequency, then the stuff will come. I mean, yes, then once you are living, so densely in the frequency of peace, because I am the all that is. I am the energetic source point. I am the energetic point of origin. I am the creator. I am the creation. I am the active creation. I am the created. I am all things. I assign what I allow in my life by way of my observation, by way of my perception, by way of what I choose to align with as truth in every single moment, and that it's all here now. When you live that, and then fine, you add in some visualization practices, or you throw in some additional intentions, the stuff will come. The stuff will be a very natural byproduct of that frequency, of that vibration. That being key number 4. Key number 5 is that creation is instant, but materialization unfolds. Now, this is controversial. This has been my experience. I might refilm this 2 weeks from now and have something different to say. But the creation is instant, and your job is to align with that, as Neville Goddard would say, that in state of knowing that it is already here. Again, this comes from knowledge. This comes from not believing. This comes from not hoping. This comes from knowledge that the kingdom of heaven is within. That you are I'm going to keep saying it because we're reprogramming you. You are, and I do it to myself, that you are the energetic point of origin. You are the creation. You are the creator. You're the act of creating. It's all you. All you're seeing is you. And that is all instant. However, materialization unfolds. And that should be a joyous process. That should be a joyous process. But you realize that it's already here. Again, you only get more of what you already have. So if you don't understand yourself as the energetic point of origin, which really takes, all of these wrap back around to the first key. If you don't understand yourself to be the energetic point of origin, then you're going to be wishing and hoping and praying. And is it the manifestation technique, or is it the coach, or this stupid freaking coach taught me wrong? I need a book. I need a journal. I need to do shadow work. I need to heal more. Just you get to receive it. You get to receive it. You'll only get more of what you already have now. So your job is to live in the end state, is to receive it, is to be the frequency of it, which again, really truly is going to come back to love, peace, joy, beauty, abundance, freedom, the absolute, the total. Everything you want is going to take you back to probably one of those intentions, expressions of the I am. So materialization unfolds. No, if you start visualizing, some car's not going to fall out of the sky. But you visualize yourself as the frequency of the person that has it, which is probably freedom, which is probably abundance. And there will be an unfolding, there will be a bridge of incidences through which that car materializes, but we're not after the material. We're living as the energetic point of origin. We're living as the I am. We're living as an individualized expression of God, the creator, the created, and the act of creation, the source point. As a source point, of course you can have what you want, and it's accepting that. So you have to, again, that goes into belief systems, of course, because if you have an ego, then this is all well and good in terms of me talking at you, but if you don't believe you can have what you want, because you don't know, because you still haven't, because we're back to key one, and you still got your ego talking in your ear, that limited, separate, conditioned self, conditioned with, we can't really get rid of that, but, conditioned with negative ideas. None of this matters. That's why that key one is, it's really, really all of what you need, but these are, bridging the gap between that dual nature of our human conundrum. It's all here. Love, peace, beauty, joy, abundance is not a product of circumstance. Those are the effect. The things, rather, are the effect. Your job is to live as the cause because you are already whole. Key number 5 out of 8, there are 8 keys. There are 8 keys initiating you into your afterlife. What's that key? What key was that then? Ooh, you're already whole. Okay. I'm not going to edit this much. So I guess that was key 5. Creation is instant. Materialization unfolds. You'll only get what you already have. Receive now. I guess it's because, no, that is key 5. I guess it's because key 4 and key 5, you can kind of condense them. I just wanted there to be 8 keys. I'll change them up. Probably meet with me on a private basis. I'll have totally different keys. They'll all say the same thing in different language, though. So key 4 was the love, peace, abundance, beauty, clarity, the abundant, everything is here. Now you're already whole. And then key 5 being that creation is instant, materialization unfolds. You'll only get more of what you already have. So you receive it now. And that's the core of my message. If you don't hear anything else I say, you'll only get what you already have. I'm always saying that you are the all that is. You'll only get what you already have. The end. That's all you need to know, really. The rest of this is just me having fun. It's filling time. It's us co-creating a moment together. Number 6, your awareness, your observation is your paintbrush. That's what you get to be creative with. That's where you can assign a new identity to yourself. That's how you can, realign a self-concept that is that harmonizes with the end state, with the wish fulfilled, with you seeing yourself as the type of person that lives a certain type of lifestyle. But that observation being your paintbrush, being your exercising of the all it is. Again, we can't, Bashar says you can't change the fact that you exist. We can't get rid of the meat. See, we can't go back to being the source consciousness orb. Not right now. So we deal with this human conundrum of being both. And in being both, you get to, have some fun. You get to create an identity without, there's like a conditioning stage of life where you're being programmed and indoctrinated with a bunch of ideas. And then this is the awakening. I mean, we're really past the awakening here. We're remembering and you're being initiated. I mean, again, this is an initiation. If you do not understand how significant this is, it probably will hit you later. You will be doing something totally different and you will realize it's over. There's no more struggling. There's no more surviving. There's no more striving. Now, you can watch this video and go back to that, but you cannot know what you've already been exposed to. So it'll hit you. It'll hit you now. You'll realize the truth of what you're engaging with now, or it'll hit you later, but it hit you. Is this jam, this message, me here in the Electric Temple, all messages are brought to you by, my messages are brought to you by and are courtesy of the Electric Temple. The signal being emitted from this Electric Temple right now, it crashed into your timeline. So your observation is your paintbrush. That's where you get to have fun. You get to choose what you want to see. And that's where a vision can come into play as well. Somebody just cuts you off. You could say this town is filled with wonderful drivers, because that's what I choose to observe. Again, I live as the creator. I live as the I am. I choose what I receive out of the myriad of experiences. I'm not living by the appearances, by the senses, by the evidence of the world. The evidence of the world is not my God. I am my God. The evidence of the world is not my creator. That is the creation. And if I don't like what I see out of the creation, there's nothing for me to do with it. It's just there. And I do not have to accept what I see. You don't have to accept it. You don't have to, again, that goes back to key number 3, allowing all things without condition. You don't have to do anything with them. You don't have to accept them. You can define and design what you want to see with that observatory paintbrush. You choose how you receive everything happening here. So you'll only get what you already have. Your observation is your paintbrush, because you are source. What you see mirrors your previous states. Oh, this is what I was talking about earlier by manifestation being dead. What you see mirrors your previous states. By the time that I say this a lot of times too. By the time that something manifests here, because we talked about materialization unfolding. So by the time that it manifests, it materializes, because again, creation is instant. But by the time it materializes, it's already dead. It's already dead. That meal is already cooked. Turkey, the bird is out of the oven, So if you don't like what you see, that can be feedback about what part of myself might have created this. If you don't like your entire life, you probably don't like yourself very much. You're probably existing with very negative assignments about the world. You're probably experiencing predominantly negative emotional states. And likely, again, I would just say that you're still living in the context of that conditioned ego. You're probably still living as a construct of what the world told you could and should be. Not that there's anything wrong with you. You're everything. There's nothing wrong with you, but you probably are living with some very fractured programming if you don't like what you see in your life. If you don't get up in the morning, if you're not full of energy, if things don't feel free, they don't feel easy. I'm not going to tell you I feel that way 100% of the time, but it's most of the time. I would say that. And I used to be addicted to many things, codependent, victim central. Freaking, I was abused as a kid. All the programming that goes along with that. Oh, I got to go to college. Got to make something of myself. Oh, I'm a perfectionist. All this stupid shit. I was depressed. I was miserable all the time, to the point of wanting to, unalive myself most of the time. secretly, nobody knowing that, being the performer, being the fixer, being the solver, falling apart, absolutely falling the fuck apart. And by accessing, understanding through years of these teachings, engaging with them and different teachers. And I've had a lot of different, the ministry, I was talking about in one video, how the ministry of Assumption Absolute is really my culmination of all of the different things that I've learned running different variations of mindset coaching businesses, essentially. Nuked all of them, because every time I would shed a skin like a snake. Now, here's the thing. The ministry is so expansive. I can really talk about anything here. Again, this is going to be the final. This is a total. This is the absolute. I'm turning 30. I've learned so much. I'm so happy to be here. I never thought, I thought people that were happy, like that enjoyed life, I was like, the fuck is wrong with you? Like, while I'm, chugging whiskey and reading Nietzsche, I'm like, you just don't understand life. And I do think that, sure, there's plenty of people here that are just blissfully unaware of exactly the circumstances that, again, this human conundrum subjects us to. But now having an understanding of, I essentially, I lived so many years in my shadow, and that drove me towards understanding the shadow and engaging with different philosophies and different, different religious studies. I went to seminary for a little bit. I've learned so much that, I'm like, it's good. It's fine. I never thought I would say that things are just fine. I never thought, I used to have, just so much disdain just for people in general, I wouldn't say I'm necessarily the most social person, but I can talk to anybody. I spend my days talking to strangers, but enough about me, because we're talking about the keys. But that's what I'm saying. This message is so close to me because I truly thought it was the circumstances. I spent my life chasing circumstances, and now to just be able to just tell you I'm fucking okay. Oh my gosh, I get up in the morning, I don't want to die. That's phenomenal. That's phenomenal, because I realize it's all here. It's all now. And again, and then the unfolding is the fun of this. That's then like the character that gets to play the game that the character designed. You get to be both the code and the function. All right. That was key number 6. I really probably fucked up these numbers. I don't know where we're at. The information is what matters. We can clean this up. Again, you want to talk to me one-on-one, we might get something like that going, I think in the beginning of the year. So I'll be taking on some people. So let me know. Hit my email. That's available to you in the show notes. What you see mirrors your previous states. Oh, yeah, I was just talking about that it's already dead. Meal's already cooked. Meal is already cooked. So if you don't like what you see, use it as feedback. Use your outside to assess yourself, or assess what you did believe about the world. And if you no longer believe that, and you're like, I'm already in a new state. I'm in the state of I am. I've returned to the I am. I know I'm whole. I'm total. I'm complete. I am love, joy, beauty, peace, freedom, abundance. And that's just old shit. And that's exactly right. And that's just old shit. And it's just old shit. But if you're really struggling, you're like, why does this thing keep appearing in my life? It's because you have got some belief system, some state of self, some understanding, some belief of truth within yourself that is in harmony with that thing that you keep seeing, that you created that, which means you can uncreate. You're already a master manifester, key number 7. You're already doing, you don't need to learn how to manifest. Oh my gosh, it's already easy. But know that you are the all that is. You are the energetic point of origin. You are source. You are God of your reality. You are an individualized expression of the divine. You are divinity incarnate. And everything you see, you've been doing. You don't need to learn to manifest. We're talking about intentional tuning. We're talking about realignment with the divinity that is of the I am. We're talking about shedding old states of understanding and of ego that are conducive to a more pleasurable experience, to the initiation of the afterlife. But you don't need to learn how to manifest every toxic partner, every bad situation, every lost job, every era of depression, every person that ghosted you, you did all of that. That was you. That was you. You don't need to learn to manifest. We're talking about tuning awareness. We're talking about intentionally wielding the paintbrush of observation, but you don't need to learn. If you were just to know that you are the all that is and that manifestation is easy, that I am a master creator, I'm fine. Yeah, throw in that, my materializations, my intentions materialize instantly. You keep those three things together again, you got it. Like, stupid simple. Stupid simple. You don't need to learn to manifest. You've been manifesting. Your entire life is a manifestation of you. All you are seeing is you. You've co-created this moment with me to help you remember, because I'm sure as hell not teaching you anything. You wouldn't even be here if some aspect of you from some timeline wasn't telling you, watch this fucking video. Remember, I don't like wake up, but to come online, because you already know this. This is just a bridge of incidences to the state of self, to the version of you that can wield these powers effortlessly. So you don't need, it's easy. Having a knowing that this is easy. If I hold it in my mind as a picture, as a truth, as an understanding, as a construct, as a belief system, as an emotional orientation, I will see it. No choice, because that's all that's happening here. And key number 8, gratitude. Gratitude, particularly with abundance, but with all things, because you're only going to get more of what you already have. If you're unsatisfied with what you have, you're going to get more dissatisfaction. That's just a punch right there. If you're always wanting for more, you're going to get what? Wanting for more. You're trying to date and you are unsatisfied with your options, you're going to get more of that unsatisfaction. Now, I'm not saying be satisfied with things that are not worth being satisfied for. I've already rephrased what I said because I don't like the way I said it. But essentially, if I'm dissatisfied with myself, and I have a belief that, or a knowing really, that there are no satisfactory matches out there, and I keep going on all these dates hoping I'll find somebody satisfactory, but in my heart, I have a knowing that nobody satisfactory is out there because, all the good ones are taken, or whatever the belief system might be. No, you would start with a gratitude of there are so many suitors and suitresses and people in between that love me. It's all already here. I am the love. I am the love. There's nothing out there that I need, yet I'm provided with so many options. Look at me. Look at how on fire I am. Look at how desirable I am. That's the place, gratitude for everything, gratitude for that which you don't see, gratitude for all that is, gratitude for yourself as the creator. You look around and you're thinking you don't have much. That's why you don't have much. So it's not gratitude, be grateful for, if I'm just grateful for these things, I'm not going to get more. No, we're not, because we're not talking about stuff. We're talking about a state of frequency of gratitude. And the more you believe, again, if you're somebody that's I have so much, what's going to be shown to you? Having so much. It will be by perception. It will be by truth of creation as the energetic point of origin. And then eventually, yes, it will be material. It will have no choice but to be, if that is your orientation to yourself and the world as the all that is. So there you go. That is your initiation into the afterlife. And this is ministry code right here. So, everything I say is really hinging on one or more of these points. As I said, if you'd like to work with me, I'm getting a wait list started. I will be taking on clients likely in the beginning of the year. I don't know quite when that will happen, but, just shoot me a message. We'll talk. We'll see, even just in talking, if it's a match. I'd love to be your consciousness coach. If you're thinking about, hey, that's who I want to guide me. That's who I trust. So thank you for co-creating this moment with me here in the Ministry of Assumption Absolute. Again, all transmissions, clues, lectures, thought posts, the podcast, the dispatches from the edge of obvious, and the Liberation Chronicle, all output from this ministry is brought to you by and is courtesy of the Electric Temple. My name is Lucien Francois Mateo St. James signing off. Remember to be good to yourselves and others because everybody's just a version of you anyway.